Castle Crashers is an awesome beat-em-up title that has always held a special place in my heart. You play as a knight that goes around slashing apart tons of monsters with a variety of cool melee weapons and awesome magic powers. There's one thing I never used as a kid, and that's the bow. I never used it because it starts out doing 3 damage and fires so slow. It just sucks compared to the damage capabilities of magic and melee. Or does it? Today, we're gonna find out if you can beat Castle Crashers with one rule. We can't do damage to an enemy with anything other than the bow. With that said, let's get into it. Recently, they've updated the game and you can play as Dexter Morgan. What is going on, dude? Eventually though, I join my buddy Fluffy Hippo Vomit and we start the game on fresh characters. I start grittying because we're at an awesome party until we see one of our buddies fall in dead. And it turns out an evil wizard has taken the crystal from the king. So we rush outside and start taking out these barbarians. Unfortunately, I don't have the DLC, and my buddy starts as the Pink Knight, so he gets a bow, but I don't have one. I jump around feeling incredibly useless, but that's when I realize, wait a minute, my buddy's getting hammered. Why don't I stand in front of him with the shield while he shoots? And with this strategy, I'm able to fend him off and allow him to actually get some hits off without being stun locked. We make it to the top of the castle and see the barbarians carrying the princesses away, and we get ambushed. So we resume the shield strategy, and my buddy gets behind me and starts wailing on them with arrows. They do manage to flank us when there's a whole bunch of them, and I try sticking the res, but the strategy we found out that works the best is running far away and then running back and getting the res off. We get rushed by a whole bunch of barbarians, but luckily I'm able to fend him off from the brutal attacks, and we just run from one side to another whenever we need some space to regroup. Eventually, using this strategy, we are able to kill him off relatively easy, it just takes a long time. And after we finish off the last one, we head into the castle, and luckily there's a knight in here to help us out, so all I do is run around and try to provide protection for the knight and my buddy, and they end up cleaning him up. After this, we reach the end of the first level, and my buddy gets some points into agility. We end up heading to the blacksmith shop to get the compass, and after this, we head into the frog, and browse the weapons. I actually don't have the DLC, so I can't use the lollipop, but I can use the pencil, which gives me +1 to agility. And then we head into the pets room, where I pick up the whale that drops some gold. The barbarians are laying siege on our castle, and we get surrounded the second we run out. Luckily, we had a couple knight buddies at the beginning to help us out, but once we get to the open battlefield, it's just every man for himself. This is where we first see the thief, and they have a bow and arrow, which sucks because you can get ganked by multiple of them, and they just rain arrows down on you, and it's super tough to do anything without getting stun locked. So I stand in front of my buddy to guard him from arrows, and eventually, after we kill a few of the thieves, the bow drops. Now that I have the bow, we can stun lock enemies by shooting at them from both sides, and they can't do anything to us. So this makes it infinitely easier. Then we stand in a firing squad and hammer the enemies. Eventually we get to the point where we come against a boss fight, and this is a giant war machine. It crashes through the gate launching cannons at us, and at this point we just have to avoid its attacks by running around. And periodically, they open it up, and this gives us a massive opportunity to do some crazy damage. So after doing this a couple times, running around and dodging bombs, we're able to take them out relatively easily. We then kill some sleeping barbarians, which I know, it's not super fair of us, but hey. After this, we have to break down a giant wall with about 100 arrows, and then we fight across this bridge. On the other side is a giant barbarian, and as he rushes out, I get a little bit scared, and I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but luckily we do decent damage to him. So as long as we can avoid his attacks, which we don't half the time, I'm going to be honest, we take him out pretty quickly. We just play cat and mouse with him, and eventually we're able to take him out and collect our treasure. We get the princess down, and we have to fight to the death. Now, this is actually super hard because if you stop shooting for 1 second, you get hit. We end up trading a lot, but he actually has way more levels than me, so he takes me out in a couple hits, even though I'm hammering him. I tried blocking arrows with the shield, but we end up trading, and he gets the kill off on me, landing him the shotty of his dreams. We both level up agility as much as we can, and move on to the next area. Luckily, we can ride some raptors, but the heavies can throw us off. We have 2 strategies that we use. We either have one person on each side so we can catch them in the middle, or we shoot from the same side and take them out in a hail of arrows. Unfortunately though, we just get absolutely surrounded by thieves, and I get taken out, leaving my buddy to take on the horde by himself. Luckily, he's absolutely goated, and he manages to do it. We move on to the next area, fight a bunch more thieves, and at this point, we're just getting obliterated. Because these guys shoot so many arrows, I actually have to stop shooting my bow and guard my buddy with the shield. We see a whole bunch of animals shitting their brains out, and after fighting a whole bunch more thieves, we make it to the ruins and have to fight these twig dudes. I really love this enemy design. I think they're one of the coolest looking in the game. But we stand back to back like it's an action movie and take them all out. We break down this wall, and after we get into this area, we see a bear shit his pants. And here's the next boss fight. It's a giant twig dude running in at us. And the first time we just get completely overwhelmed, backed into a corner, and stun locked to death. And so we have to redo this entire level. We do get some level ups though, so we're able to upgrade our agility. And after running through the whole level again, we found out a super good strategy. If you both camp right behind this fire and just spam arrows, there's absolutely nothing the minions can do. They either get hit by your arrows or they hit the fire, and there's nothing they can do to you. They can't do damage. So we just stood here and spammed arrows until we eventually drained the boss's health enough so that we could get the kill off. After we get our sweet victory, we head into this barn over here, or watermill, whatever it is. We get pushed by a giant cat, so we end up having to hop on some deer and run through the area. Luckily, we just have to jump a whole bunch of logs, swim across a little bit of water, and after this, we make it to the catfish fight. Now, I've actually played against this boss so many times that we got it down. Just avoid the hand, wait for the cat to cough up a hairball, break it, make sure it's right in front of the ship, and then they'll hit it with a cannon. When they do this, it gets stunned, and it gives us an opportunity to do damage. We do a ton of damage with the bows at this point, and luckily, we end up killing them pretty quickly. We level up our agility a little bit more, and then head into the next area. We see a whole bunch of cute, cuddly little bears, but turns out they're deadly warriors, and they rush us with some fish. We take up our firing positions and absolutely light them up. Now this part is actually pretty hard because these bears all use magic, and then when their boss spawns in, he turns into a tornado and instantly kills me. That's great. So my buddy has to run around and try to get the res off, and eventually he does, and we're able to put some damage in on him. The boss actually follows me around the entire time though. I don't know why, but he had something against me, dude. He just rushed me at all times. Eventually, we do take him out. He's not too crazy of a boss. He just uses a lot of magic. I say that as I died 3 times during the boss fight. Anyways, we head on up and we have to fight these giants, but luckily they get stunned every single arrow like the other ones did before. We then hold up our shield so we can go through these arrows and cross the bridge before flanking and killing the enemies. We head into a cave here, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty jolly time. We just have to kill a whole bunch of slimes, and then we see a whole bunch of bats fly out of a cave, followed by a big chunker. Now, I forgot how much this guy flies, so I thought originally he was going to fly the entire fight, but luckily he lands, which gives us an opportunity to wail on him. This boss is actually really easy for this challenge. If you just stay to the left or the right, you can get a whole bunch of shots off on him while he runs towards you, and he doesn't really have any projectile attacks, so you're pretty good on that front. We do get rushed by a whole bunch of his minion bats that latch onto our heads, but we take him out. We level up our agility some more, and buy some potions from a nearby vendor. After this, we head into the bee fields and get attacked by a whole bunch of grumpy bees. Luckily, we have the entire army at our disposal, and we just sit back and let the knights do the work while putting in a couple occasional arrows. We launch ourselves out of a catapult, and once we're on the castle, we fight our way across the garrison and crash the wedding of this knight who kidnapped the princess. And he tries to run away from us, but we take on his men. These guys spam bombs like crazy, and they do a ton of damage to us because we haven't leveled our defense once. We die a couple times, but eventually we're able to make it to the boss, and he starts going crazy on us with his lightsaber. We tried wailing on him, but only get a tiny bit of damage off before he hops on the organ. And at this point, we just have to run around and avoid some bombs until he gets off. Wait, pause. In between playing the piano, he'll jump off and try to do some damage. And the first damage phase didn't go so well because I just kept getting hit every 1 second by this guy getting stun locked. We did figure out for the next damage phase though, if one of us is on each side and we shoot fast enough, we can stun lock him before he can even do anything to us. So that's pretty nice. Once we got this figured out, it didn't take long to kill him. But his buddy was on the toilet, and when he sees that he's dead, he gets super sad, so he grabs the corpse and the princess and rushes out. We follow him and jump on the carriage, and this part's pretty easy. I face one direction, my buddy faces the other, and with one arrow it knocks enemies off, so it's pretty easy to keep them off of us. We then get pursued by the giant cat from earlier, and as long as we deal with the thieves jumping in on us, it's not really a problem shooting the cat, so we light him up, and eventually he gets killed and falls off. We then pursue that giant dude and the princess into a cave and fight a whole bunch of knights, avoid some lava, break some stalactites, and wait, stalagmites, I can't remember which one hangs from the roof. Anyways, we go into this cave dwelling and kill a whole bunch more knights. And they start spamming bombs right here, dude. We got absolutely fucking obliterated. We made it through these guys, but when we come across these 2 fire demons and a knight, we just get annihilated. We do level up our agility a lot more though, which is great. Grab some more potions and head back in.
Next time when we get to this spot, we go on either side of him and take him out fairly easy. And then we get to the Cyclops. He is not happy to see us by any means, and he bum rushes us. This is one of my favorite boss fights in the game because it looks so cool. He can throw knives at you, he lunges at you, but as long as you keep your distance, you'll be fine, and we do end up taking him out, before getting a whole bunch of treasure and fighting over the princess. I wanted this shorty super bad, so I tried my best to kill my buddy, but he reigned victorious once again.
To top it off, this kid teabags on me.
I sat there and cried on the ground when he kissed my girl, but we leveled up our agility even more, and then we fought a whole bunch of these fire demons with volcanoes erupting all around us. This guy resurrected a whole bunch of skeletons from the dead, and they're super fast, but luckily we're able to mow them down. We come across a whole bunch of fire demons using magic at once, and we kill them. And sadly, we get to this point where it forces you to use the toast to kill the volcano, because no other weapons do damage. So technically, you cannot beat the game only using a bow, but this is the only enemy in the game that forces you to eat the toast, so we're going to see if we can beat the rest of the game without using it. Let me know down in the comments if you think this is a fail, or if you think it's fun. I'm curious. Anyway, we make it to the next boss fight, which is a dragon with a giant sock puppet. And this was really hard, dude. We found out real quick that we couldn't do damage to his hand, and we couldn't do damage to his head either, no matter what we tried. It turns out you can't hit this guy to do damage unless you hit him from a very specific angle. And it's right by the sign here up on the ramp. It took a long time, but we got him super low the first try. Sadly, we ended up dying, but we leveled up our agility and went back in. The strategy we used this time was my buddy would shoot him from up on the ramp, and then I would shoot arrows at all the fire demons that spawned in below to keep them off of my buddy. This way, he wouldn't lose track of the specific angle that he needed, and we'd be fine. Using this strategy, we were able to take him out over a long period of time. It took forever, but finally, we managed to do it. We leveled up our agility way more, and then busted into the castle. At this point, we both have miniguns, dude, and nobody can even touch us. Nobody can touch us. We then make it through the obstacle course in the castle, and fight up this elevator. Now, this was really tough. There's nowhere to go, so they can just push straight at you. We tried hiding in the corner. I told my buddy it was a safe spot, but we found out real quick it absolutely wasn't, because we get mowed down by bombs. Eventually, we do make it to the boss, and this is incredibly easy. Probably the easiest boss fight in the game, because you're supposed to shoot at this one anyways, and since we're almost fully upgraded, we just melt this guy. All you really gotta do is watch out for the hand and shoot whatever electronics pop up, and you're golden. It's super easy, super quick, and just like that, boss fight done. My buddy gets fully maxed out on agility, and then we sail across the seas and fight some pirate ninjas. Once we land in the desert, we fight these scorpions, and what's cool about these guys is they only take one arrow to kill, but they spawn infinitely. There's also all these sinkholes that'll suck you in, and there's these sandworms that'll feast on you. These guys are super annoying. But we do a ton of damage to everything that we come against. So that's nice. We come across one of these beetles for the first time, and these guys are super resilient, and they charge you in the air as well as from underground, so that's crazy. We have to fight 3 at once at some point while we're getting rushed by scorpions. This was kind of tough, but we did manage to take them out. We then have to fight a whole bunch of dudes that look like they're straight out of Prince of Persia, and then we have to take out a UFO. To my surprise, we actually ended up having to take out 2 UFOs. Now, this is the point I should mention. I've never gotten this far into the game. Back when I was younger, I did used to play this a lot, but I never got past the industrial castle. So I was surprised to see that we had to fight 2 UFOs before being picked up by the mothership. We use the arrows to break out of prison, and when the aliens see that we've broken out, they're not too happy and they sound the alarm. And this is crazy because we end up getting pushed from all sides by a massive horde. And luckily, they only take 1 arrow to kill, but the problem is there's about 2 billion of them pushing you at once, and they also have guns, so you're just getting lasered from all sides. I ended up getting absolutely stun locked, but eventually through pure perseverance and a bunch of stun locks, we were able to take him out. Luckily, we came into this with a bunch of potions. This big guy gets up off the toilet and destroys the ship, so we have 1 minute to make it out. Luckily, we end up making it out on time and we crash back down to Earth. We steal these camels and ride our way across the desert, and then into this abode where we have to kill a whole bunch of heavies. Like I said though, no one can really touch us. We just run around, upgrade our agility by winning the levels, and we just take up a position on one side of the screen and use our miniguns, and then we beat these guys in a game of volleyball to get the treasure map. We then head to the graveyard and help out a bunch of villagers kill the undead. The wizard isn't too happy about that, and they resurrect a whole bunch of skeletons and upgrade them to be even beefier, and they can't even touch us. We stand right by this wall and we just spam arrows and take them out so incredibly fast, it's not even funny, dude. We melt people at this point. Who knew the bow was this good? I mean, look at this. No one can even touch us. They can't even get near us because we're just going too crazy on them, dude. When I started this challenge, I did not expect the bow to be this good. You can see how fast we kill one of these twig bosses after coming across them for the second time. They just get absolutely lasered. And this is where we come across the corn boss. This guy is really cool looking. I wish I had seen him sooner because I didn't really know what I was missing out on. This game has so many cool bosses. And this guy is actually really easy in the first few phases. He just pops out of the ground once in a while, you shoot him, he drops popcorn that heals you, and we do end up getting him down to about a third health really fast. But this is where the boss fight starts getting super hard because he teleports every second. Every second he teleports. I ended up dying and my buddy was super low as well, so we just had to stick out the last couple shots. Somehow he did get the res off, and we managed to finish off the corn, and this villager gave us the horn. That kind of rhymed. I upgraded my agility again, and after sounding the horn, we make it into the ruins. In these sewers, we have to fight a whole bunch of fish people, and it's really cool because when they die, they turn into sushi, which is awesome. But it is kind of annoying because they like to jump, and they jump right behind you and start attacking you from behind, and they will just absolutely rail you, so you got to be careful. After this though, we make it to Medusa, and this is a pretty straightforward, pretty easy fight. She moves super slow, and she does have poison attack, but they don't do too much damage to us. She does freeze you in place a couple times, but we take her out pretty quickly. At this point, I fully max out my agility to let us just spam arrows. And even though these guys do a bunch of damage and have a bunch of health, none of that matters if they can't even get near us and can't even stand up. We make it to the snow biome and find a snow fortress, which we take out with our arrows and watch all these guys fall flat on their faces. This area also has my favorite song in the soundtrack. And then we get absolutely embarrassed trying to make it across this ledge. Dude, we got hit by just about everything that came our way. Eventually, we make it across and kill the enemies before coming face to face with the Ice King. Now, it's kind of tough because he does drop a lot of ice on you, freezes you like crazy, but luckily he has a whole bunch of attacks where he charges up, and this gives you ample time to laser him with arrows. And eventually, we are able to take him out. After getting our loot, we had a fight for the princess. Now, I was not letting this guy get a third one in a row. I just stood my ground and started spamming arrows as fast as I could. We had a bunch of trades, and I fired the wrong way a couple times. Eventually, I was able to get him trapped in the corner to secure the kill and get my bay. Yeah. We could finally level up our defense so we could stop taking so much damage, and then we made it into the Dark Aether from Black Ops Cold War. The wizard takes all of his lackeys up into a base in the sky, and somehow, I don't know how we do this, but we end up flying all the way up there. We have to fight a whole bunch of the wizard's acolytes up here, and the thing that sucks about these guys is they don't take stagger damage, and they will run straight through your arrows to get to you. Luckily, they don't take too many to kill, so as long as you can kill them fast enough, you'll be fine. We get to this area with 5 portals where we have to do a boss rush. The first one we have to take out is this painter who gives birth. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Now, you'd think this guy would be tough because it's almost the final level in the game. But no, nothing this guy can throw at us does anything because we can just use our miniguns and absolutely blast the crap out of him. Now, it kind of sucks because this boss fight is really awesome, but it's kind of trivialized when you use 2 bows at max fire rate. Horton here's who tries killing us, but we end up taking out the painter relatively quickly, even though there's clowns all around us, which is one of my worst fears. We take him out super fast, and he barfs up a whole bunch of fruit, which is good because I needed it. We get to the next boss, which is the Cyclops Reincarnated. Now, this boss fight is awesome. He runs around with a giant coffin, and he swings it at you and he gets close enough, and he can fire projectiles this time. And he releases an unkillable skeleton that bum rushes you, and it scared the shit out of me.
That was this guy. Don't let that guy hit you. He does so much damage.
My buddy tried warning me, but I did not listen to him.
Oh!
So after I almost die of that heart attack, we're able to kill the boss through the power of friendship and magic. The next boss room we head into is complete and utter chaos. This guy resurrects all the bodies in here, which is one of every small and one of every big enemy you fought up in the game till this point. And you fight them all at once. We started off on the same side, trying to shoot as many as we could, but then they started spamming magic and just melting the fuck out of us. At this point, all bets are off and it was every man for himself, and we were just trying to survive. It was so crazy. I was panicking the entire time, and it was just so much fun, dude. It's so stupid. After we kill the last enemy, the Necromancer drops down himself to finish us off. This guy actually wasn't that bad. What was funny though, was he would just ignore my teammate and just rush me the entire time. He didn't go for my buddy once. He literally just bum rushed me and locked onto me multiple times. No matter what. No matter what. I don't know what his problem was with me, but he was only going for me. This allowed my buddy to get a whole bunch of shots off on him though, and we killed him pretty quickly because of this. Then we just break the crystal and we take one final elevator up to the final boss of the game. The first phase starts off with a whole bunch of crystals spawning in and flying towards us. All you have to do is shoot them, and after cracking them all, it's the next phase. The wizard drops down and I shoot his shield, and this damages us because what I didn't realize was if you shoot the shield while it's blue, both of you take damage, but if you shoot the shield while it's red, then he takes damage. After finding this out, it's a quick kill on him, and he goes on to the next phase, where he turns into a floating orb and flies around. But we also have to dodge all these orbs on the ground that he's shooting at us. Luckily though, it's really easy. It just takes a long time because you can only shoot one arrow per jump. But after doing this long enough, we're able to bring him down to his next phase. Or so I thought, but after doing this, we killed him, and it's time to open the chest. Dude, I did not expect that, and I literally almost shit my pants. That scared the absolute crap out of me, dude. And no matter what we tried, this seemed impossible. Because no matter how high we jumped, no matter where we jumped, we could not hit this guy. And on top of that, his buddies are rushing us, and they can't be stunned by arrows. So this was really hard, and we started to lose hope. Until finally, my buddy managed to hit him. Now that we knew it was possible, our hope was revived, and we ran around trying to kill him. But after about 10 minutes of just pure chaos, we were only able to do about a fifth of the damage to his health bar, and when I tried sticking the res, we died, leaving us to do the whole level over again. We upgraded our defense, and we went and grabbed the cat pets, which allow us to jump higher. We thought this might help us with the final boss, and I'm lucky my buddy thought of this because this helped out substantially. Now we had a 100% hit rate whenever we jumped with the arrow. Knowing this, we just had to be incredibly patient and wait for the right timing to get the hits off. It took a long time, probably about 10 straight minutes of doing this, but eventually we were able to take him down and bring him to the next stage. He turns into the balloon cat again, and this time he's a lot higher up. But luckily, with the power of the cat, we're still able to jump high enough to continue to bring him down. Once we bring him back down to Earth, we're at the final stage of the boss fight, where he summons an awesome dragon sword that looks suspiciously like the sword from Lego Ninjago. I can't even lie, Kai's sword looks exactly like that. But, to be honest, it's not too crazy. He summons some fire from the sky and does a little whirlwind attack, but we do a ton of damage to him at this point. We're fully stacked on damage, and nothing can get in our way. So after kiting him around the arena, getting mauled by fire a few times, and posting up with my buddy as a firing squad, we were able to melt him relatively quickly, bringing him to his untimely demise. And with this wizard vanquished, we have finally proved that it is possible to beat Castle Crashers with only the bow. I genuinely can't even believe this was possible. I didn't think it was gonna be possible going into this. I thought it was gonna be a lot harder, but wow, the bow is good. I had a lot of fun making this. I always enjoy making videos more when I'm able to play with a friend. I don't know, it makes it so much more fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me, dude. I'm only 200 subs away from being monetized. That's crazy. It's always been a dream of mine. Anyways, thank you guys so much for sticking around. I appreciate you. And have a good one.